if not, I mean, we can catch them up. So effectively, you guys have taken care of Sunblight. Grandolpha is sort of like rousing the troops to go back to the Underdark. There is indeed a passageway into the Underdark in the subterranean levels of Sunblight itself, which is how they sort of like came up and into that. And then now, whether that was built by the Dwergar or it was a pre-existing structure they moved in, no one's ever explained that. Who knows? But what is known is that you're brought over to, or you're led over, or shown where the prisoners are, and there are two prisoners. There was one sort of really beat up looking like townsfolk person whose name was like Yosha or something. I'll go back and find it. And then what was it? Yeah, it was Yoshi. Yeah, exactly, it was Yoshi. And where's the body? Oh, and then there was Velen, and maybe it's and so Velen basically gives you like the lowdown. She's like, here's what I have that can possibly be of assistance with this. And so hold on, I just want to find this guy's name because I can't remember what it is. It is what is his name? Sorry, just reading through this, and I don't know why. Oh, it's Pico. That was his name. His name was Pico. Pekoe. Pico.
Pico de Gallo.
Pico de Gallo. It's just a lot of like cooking references in this particular fortress. But anyways, so she explains that she has a scroll of teleportation, but there's issues with teleportation that if she's not completely familiar with where you want to go, bad things could happen. Namely, you could be way off point by maybe 100 feet, maybe a couple miles. So that's a problem. It's not a huge chance, but it's a chance. The other thing that she suggests is that she has the ability to use Phantom Steed, which would carry up to 8 people on these creatures, right? That take on like the rough appearance of something in the area like a horse that would carry you, but it is difficult terrain, so they would only move at half speed, which means they could move at about 6 miles an hour, but at an hour, the duration of the spell ends and she would have to cast it as a ritual again, which takes an hour. So that's another potential travel thing. Remember that when traveling through the wilderness, there's always the chance of random encounters, which could be problematic. And then the last option is you guys could just try to hustle, make it back to your axe peaks, and remember that process took you guys not hustling it was right about 2 days to get to Sunblight from Dugan's Hole following the roadways. So those are kind of like your travel options that you have.
I thought we were coming from Bryn Shander when it took us 2 days.
No, you guys left Bryn Shander, traveled over to East Haven, and then down. You spent the night at East Haven, then traveled down, made it to Dugan's Hole, and then I think you guys actually set off from Dugan's Hole that first day because you were following the pathway. That's I got to go back to the map where everybody is right now. There was from Dugan's Hole right here. Mm-hmm. There was the idea was that you guys could follow like these riverways and the 10 trails possibly, and use that as like the mechanism to get in because you weren't originally going to Sunblight. You were going over here where Novakri's nightmares were coming from.
No. We stopped at a town for sure.
Yeah, you guys went to Bryn Shander. There was some mild shopping that occurred. There was some interactions in town, and then you guys took off again. And that was when you guys first went. You basically went the east way to East Haven, and then you followed the roadway down to Dugan's Hole, and then I think your pathway, basically, if I remember correctly, I think your path basically was like this, and then from there you went here, and you found the giant exploded thing where you fought like the carrion worms and the carrion crawlers, I should say, and the bullet, and then you guys headed east and made it to Sunblight, and then fast forward through the last 3 episodes, basically.
And we are at a citadel, and usually citadels have some form of communication, like birds that can carry messages. Do we know?
You would think that, but if it's a citadel that was looking to take over all of 10 towns and was not communicating with 10 towns, no communication of that sort.
Okay.
But they did have his sons running around different locations, so there could have been.
Well, if you remember, there were invisible Dwergar in several settlements that were all looking for Chardelin, and some of them had notes and letters on them. And you would assume that possibly what they were doing was, as these sort of packs were going out, and either to replace them or to like give them supplies or do whatever, they probably traveled with the notes that way.
Yeah, probably to replace them since we were killing them so fast. I'm sure their big message bearer is the dragon, and he brings the message of doom.
Well, so I will say that Grandolpha hasn't said it, but you can assume that if there are still Dwergar that are out and about in 10 towns and the dragon shows up, they're only going to aid the dragon in whatever way they can. Because as far as they're concerned, Zardok's finally enacted like his like final countdown, and it's on.
Yeah.
Do I have access to any sort of like window where I can see outside?
So right now, we can basically pick up wherever you want to be. We left off last week with like you guys finding Velen and her basically in her gnarled and crabby voice being like, "It's about time somebody came and rescued me," kind of thing. And then I wanted to kind of, rather than having to role play everything out from there, just to keep like the timeline somewhat conducive, I wanted to just give you guys the information and see what you wanted to do next.
Okay. Well, then, just to let the group know, I have the ability to create a bond with an animal messenger. So if I can find a flying creature, I can give it a 25-word message and send it to Dugan's Hole. And give it a description of, like, say, like, describe what a town's guard would look like, or somebody of some sort of authority, and have this animal.
And you guys, you know that at each
Dugan's Hole.
you know that at each of the each of the towns there are like militia leaders, or there are town speakers, or there are people of importance that basically are in charge of the towns. So you would have a good knowledge of that.
Okay. And honestly, we can send it to any of the towns we want. Like, if we want to send it to Bryn Shander because we like them the most, or East Haven, we can send it there and just tell them to spread the word. The animal can deliver the message, or I can also, put a note, a handwritten note, like on, like a carrying pigeon.
This Valen guy or girl, it's a lady, right?
Woman, yes.
Okay.
Yes, she's a necromancer we were supposed to save.
Okay.
Yes.
Where is she from?
So she is just for some backstory that has been shared during the course of this. You remember that Ronaldo told you that she was one of the people who had traveled to 10 towns from the Arcane Brotherhood. There were several people who had come from the Arcane Brotherhood to 10 towns to try to figure out like if there was anything to be garnered or learned from why Oral was here, and also was there anything here worthwhile? Like maybe there was something here that was the reason that Oral decided to set up shop here, besides that she was just pissed and had a falling out with Umberly and Talos. So that there are several members that have traveled here. Ronaldo seems to just be a neutral party that's sort of just documenting it and wandering around. Velen, or I'm going to say her name different every time because I can't remember how to say it. But she she originally thought that maybe the Dwergar had something to do with it. Like maybe there was a reason they were coming here too, and so she had attempted to gain information, but ended up getting captured, and hence why she was where she was.
Well done indeed. So I did she have anywhere that she was kind of like, her kind of home base in 10 towns? I'm just wondering about if we do a teleportation, how easily could they how easily could she take care of that? Like, is there anywhere that might be less of an issue, Like Bryn Shander is like a 90%, but East Haven's, 20.
Yeah, so Bryn Shander is going to be her best bet. Like she feels pretty confident she can get you there. There's probably about a 10% chance of something going wrong. The further out you want to go, the more the risk goes. There is one addendum to a teleportation spell in 5e, and that is if you have an item that is from the spot and the person is aware of it, it heightens your chances of being successful in getting where you want to go.
Yeah. Do we have anything from Bryn Shander?
Definitely, people shopped. We bought stuff.
But anything that's like, I think it's got to be something that's like, not just like an item that like, oh, this was sitting there. Like it's got to be like a part.
Where's the Black Iron blades located?
So Black Iron Blades is in Bryn Shander, but it's something that was forged by materials that came from all over. Kevin's right on with this, where you need something that's specifically tied to the location. Like if you had
a stone from like a building, I think is like an
yes.
example. Like stuff to that effect, that it's like, hey, see, this isn't just like a rock. It specifically was a wall to this or whatever.
If you guys had like an icon or something that had been taken from the Church of Amenthor that was there, like that could be a homing signal kind of thing.
I think he gave me a holy water or something.
I think you're gonna need something a little stronger than that. Like if you still had that scroll that he scribed, that might have worked, but you used that so people didn't die. So
ugh. That would have been helpful right about now. Says one of the 4 people that were saved by it. So I think it's kind of something where we want to go. Probably Bryn Shander. That'll be the best place to get information out. We can, if you are then able to send a message from there, it can be sent from Bryn Shander to Dugan's Hole. It hopefully will be quicker, because it looks like it's just a quicker, flight path there. And it should be easier to get something too. And I'm sure there's also communication through that might even be quicker throughout the 10 towns. Maybe not at all.
Yeah, no, I like that.
But so that's a good plan. I'm not going to say it's not a good plan. I will also say though that remember that I shared with you guys the approximate timetable of what's going to happen and the timeframes associated with it. So again, the game is in pause right now, but in about an hour and a half from the time frame that you're in right now, the dragon is going to arrive in Dugan's Hole, and we'll have it utterly destroyed in about 30 minutes. So, and then he's going to take off and head to Goodmead. And so there is the game does. Sorry.
He is gonna, because it's taking him. It is gonna total time from Sunblight to Dugan's Hole was about 2 hours, correct? Or was that 1 hour?
No, that's correct.
Okay, and then so we can assume that his distance to Goodmead is significantly less than that time. So it's going to take him another 30 minutes to get to Goodmead after he destroys Dugan's Hole.
I am going to pull it up right now. Hold on, I gotta go back to it.
3 hours.
Yeah, Kevin, do you have it? Can you pull it up?
No, I'm just gonna put higher numbers.
Oh, okay, great.
It's like 2.5 days, I think.
No, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Hold on.
Yeah, see, he gets distracted by the red waters.
He sees his reflection on the ice and gets completely enamored.
He's
Are we
kind of
talking
a
about Tom or
stupid
the dragon?
charlatan dragon.
Either, same difference.
That's right. Often
Mm.
I think of myself as a
Tom,
child.
Tom starts going like, "Hey, what the hell?" And you just hold up a mirror, and it's just like, "Oh, hey."
Oh, my face. Look at that. I
Yeah,
didn't
when you want to
know.
stop Tom from talking, just put a mirror up front.
I did not
Right.
know I was crystal. I did not know I was black crystal. That's interesting. No one told me. So I can't
Stop.
I can't open up the spreadsheet on my phone. So I'm stuck with that.
No worries. Just a question. Go ahead, continue.
I'll see if I can pull it up online because I know it's something that like the sort of the community of folks that have run this game have put together, because what they put in the book was literally impossible. Like there's been a lot of behind the scenes recreation of some of the stuff that they put out in this book originally, because when I first read it I was like, huh, and then I was like, let's do math, and I went, that's not gonna work at all. That's not good.
Okay, come on, just open one. All right, so it's 2 hour travel time, and then destruction time is 30 minutes, so 2.5 hours total. Then to Goodmead is half an hour,
Uh-huh.
and then destruction time is a full hour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, some things that I will tell you is that the dragon has an amount of hit points. You know, I mean, that's obvious. All creatures do in this game. And if enough damage can be done to the dragon in a location, the dragon will leave that location and move on to the next one. So there is the possibility of chasing it around. Additionally, certain settlements in 10 towns have militias that are potentially capable of doing some damage to the dragon, but I'll be very honest. It's not going to do much, and the town will be destroyed. That's the way that this is set up. So, as the heroes of 10 towns, you guys really are Obi-Wan. Please help. You're my only hope, kind of thing.
Okay. How do we get healing in that case?
So Chris actually had a good point where if everybody took an hour's rest, you guys have not used any short rests, so you could get your health back up in like if you took an hour, or even actually I think it's like it recommends you could say a half hour or so, which you could do that and everybody could like burn some hit die and get that. But as far as getting abilities back, I mean, Novakri said it last week. She was out of spells. She still clearly she still has like the laser rifle and whatnot, but she's out as far as her abilities go. Velen is willing to try to help with whatever spell she has, but she doesn't have much because she's been trapped in a cage here for several days. So
you haven't been casting them. You should be healed up.
true, but a wizard needs to look at their spell book. She does not have her spell book.
Nerd.
Nerd.
I mean, a short rest would be helpful. I just don't know if we have any ability to kind of like, if we do chase the dragon, or at least get him away, if we have the ability to kind of keep it going.
Well, remember, Velen has said that if and the thing I will say is, moving through the wilderness, the phantom steeds move at 6 miles an hour, right? And in a straight line from Sunblight to Dugan's Hole, it's 12 miles approximately. But that's over a mountain, down a mountain, and then through a valley. So that's going to take some time, and there's the potential for wilderness encounters if you do it. However, if Velen gets you within 10 towns and does an hour ritual to summon the phantom steed, you could then move at the full speed of the horses, which is 12 miles an hour, which would get you virtually anywhere in 10 towns in an hour.
Oh, okay.
Well, an hour for summoning, an hour for riding, but
Yeah,
fair.
so you're looking at 3 hours then.
Well, an hour for summoning and then an hour for riding. But if the distance is only 6 miles, you'd be there in 30 minutes. So, and we do have all the distances between the towns already mapped out, so we can look at that and figure it out. That was one of my first math homeworks for this game.
All right, so in that case, we've got Dugan's Hole, Good
And
Mead.
as you are doing that, Kevin, I'm going to help you keep working on it. There's something I'm going to have you guys do if anybody has access to it. And that is
15 miles. Wait.
From what I've read with like online forums right now, it's somewhere between 12 and 15, but basically everybody said 12 miles was the approximate distance. So the other thing is the Charlatan Dragon is a construct, and if anybody wants to know more about a Charlatan Dragon, I can maybe give you information if you roll a Arcana check and get high enough. Nine is not gonna get you anything.
Christ, come on.
Rothgar, do you have Arcana?
No.
All right. Well, you basically got a good idea that it's a dragon that's made out of Charladrin.
Yay!
Oh, look at
I'm
that!
contributing.
Who, Ziana? Are you rolling for Loki? Yeah. All right. So Loki, that's enough. So I will give you a couple things about it. First of all, Charlatan Dragon is a huge construct that is chaotic evil in nature. It is resistant to basically everything that is not magical. It is immune to cold and poison and has lots of immunities when it comes to conditions. And its face. Everybody saw like the first Thor movie, right? And when the is it called the Destroyer? Chris, you probably remember. Is it the Destroyer that shows up in that movie?
Yep. That it is.
All I heard was eh.
Yes, it is the Destroyer.
All right, so the Charlatan Dragon's face looks a lot like the Destroyer's. It's got these two slots where this like fiery eyes peer out, but the rest is just this like Bane mask kind of thing, and that whole face like highlight, and it lets out this like line attack. That's its breath weapon, and its line attack is radiant energy that it shoots out. And I think that's about all I can tell you about it. I mean, it's got some other stuff, but that's about all I'll give you. I will tell you that you guys know that Bryn Shander A is the last stop that the dragon's going to make. So that is, and the reason behind that is, and I think that this may be in like the very first session in the history of 10 towns, that Bryn Shander is like one of the few towns that stood up and resisted when orcs came in a couple hundred years ago and like wiped out almost because of their fortified walls, because like everybody could retreat inside. So the standing operation is whenever it goes flees to Bryn Shander, thinking that that's going to give them the most safety possible. The problem is the dragon's going there last because Zardoc knew this and was like, once you're all in one spot, I'm just going to have the dragon wipe you out by destroying Bryn Shander. So Bryn Shander should know that that's definitely something that like that's what's going to happen. But what you can do to mitigate that, that's going to be up to you guys.
I don't have anything that's
Hurtful-
ranged.
And it has
Hurtful
to
words.
be, he's immune to non-magical, correct?
Correct.
So it has to be ranged and magical.
Well, here's the thing. Dragons are prideful creatures, and as a DM, I'll tell you that if you can annoy it enough, it might come down to try to like take care of the annoyance, which would be great for people that are more melee involved. But you'd have to convince it to do that.
I think we could do that.
Well, I mean, you guys are really good at annoying things. As the DM, I'll say that. I'll give it to you. I mean, hell, I have to say it. You guys are also really good at killing things too. So, I mean, you got that going for you too. There's also the possibility, or the possibility that there could be some armaments in the towns. But you feel that the likelihood of that is probably going to be the bigger towns, like your Bryn Shanders, like your East Havens, and the ones that are further out. It's probably going to be a lot less. Like, I mean, like if you think about Lonelywood was literally like this thing all by itself on the edge of the water, where like nothing but miles of forest all around it. Like it's a pocket of nothing. I mean, it's also where your inn is, but it's there.
What about bringing in the dwarven clans from 10 towns?
So the dwarven clans are up here, just sort of like in the middle, up near Kelvin's Cairn, up there.
Yeah.
The I mean, if there was a way to try to get the dwarves and then get them to help, you. But with the timetables you have, I don't know how you're going to pull that off. You could try it. I mean, you can try anything you want. Just I don't know how that's going to turn out.
Well, if we're sending word to Bryn Shander, and trying to slow this down through Dugan's Hole and Goodmead to East Haven, and sending runners and word and whatnot from Bryn Shander to whatnot, the Black Iron Blades are associated with the Dwarven clans in the Dwarven Valley. They can get word to them because it would be within the dwarves' best interest to assist with the dragon as well.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think that the only thing I will say is the reality of getting a force from the Dwarven Valley to any of the towns is going to be a multi-day process potentially.
Except the Dwarven Valley is right in between Tourmaline and Caer Koning and Caer Dineval.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. But if you got to get the people to say, let's do it, and then they've got to suit up, and then they've got to trudge through the snow about, what was that, 2 to 3 miles, and you're moving at like quarter or half mile like an hour, if that. You're talking several hours to get there. So there's also the chance that the dwarves just say, we don't want to deal with a dragon right now. There's always the chance.
Yeah, and we aided them, so they're kind of in our debt.
You know, Clan Battlehammer does classically hold up any and all debts. That's true.
Yes, I know. That's why I said it.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. The lore and the DM agrees with what you're saying, but the DM is also saying that the likelihood of an immediate surge of defenders is going to be pretty low. Just throw your magic halberd and see what happens. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's a good idea. Don't roll a one. I'll just tell you that. Don't roll a one when you throw that.
Well, now you just cursed it, so that way when I do roll, it will be a 1.
I mean,
No. I just meant earlier when you and he were saying that you don't have a lot of ranged options. That that's true. That is true.
literally.
However, I will also say that even with standard weapons that you could probably find, or maybe even grab a couple from the keep before you set out, whether they're like a crossbow or like a short bow or a long bow or something like that. The dragon has resistance to that, but he's not impervious to it.
I do have a spell. It would be a long shot. I do have a spell that could potentially get the dragon to the ground.
Well, he's crystal. Let's just throw rocks at it.
Oh,
People in glass houses.
Exactly.
I mean, how much does slings do? But we could get a plus. Oh no!
He has to for my
we
spell.
Could
He
use
would have to.
slings.
He would have to pass a strength.
Am I muted?
Strength saving throw, but.
The quiver.
The munition in his quiver is magical. That is true.
I don't think his quiver will hold a halberd though.
It won't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't hold the halberd, but it holds a lot of stuff.
It makes arrows. It makes bolts magical.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So like he could take all of his now magical bolts out, and I could put as many as I can fit in, and then mine would be magical, and then I could take mine out.
So I
As
believe.
far
I
as I
believe.
understand, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that it is. I don't think it's an ever filling quiver. I think you have to fill it, but once the items are placed inside of it, they are granted a magical property for I think it's like a duration of time.
Okay. Well, then that's gonna happen. Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty hefty.
It's I I it I saw it and went, "Is am I really giving that? All right, I'm giving it. He found it. All right." Bolt. Dex. Yes. Yes. Unless it's like you can throw a melee weapon, and then usually you're using your strength score to do that, but it's a much shorter range.
I'm gonna be putting 40 of my arrows in that quiver holding.
Just remember, yeah. And so, um, just I just imagine everybody starts fighting about who's standing next to Loki now. No, I am. No, I am. No, I am.
All this.
Just saying. Just saying. Um, and just something that you may want to consider as well is that I don't know what spells you guys have access to. Specifically, Autumn. I don't know what you have for spells, but there are a number of spells that are within everybody's like potential repertoire that do specific damage to substance types, such as crystal. So that is something else to consider and to check your spells as a potential. He's got a bag that just has a piece of tape that says a ton of daggers. He carries it over his shoulder. Did he bring that? Did he bring that then? Oh, that's right. That's right. The bandoliers. The bandoliers. That's right. Correct. Yep.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, so my 2 daggers are going in as well. Well, they're not staying in there. They're just going in there, becoming magical, and taking them back out.
And I'll, like I said, if you guys want to try to like just say that you picked up or grabbed like some basic armaments as you were leaving Sunblight, however you're going to leave Sunblight, I'm not going to like, it won't be like a contest or whatever. If just you can just say that you grabbed them, as long as it's nothing that's too ridiculous. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's roll. What was the total amount of javelins that you could put in the quiver? All right, you can get those. I'm not going to make you roll on those. What's the next one? All right, and how? I didn't hear you say how many. Could you say it again? 8. 18. All right, so let's roll a d10, and that d10 is going to be a percentile of 18, and that's how many javelins you can grab on your way out. So 20% of that, so 18. What is it? It's you got 4 javelins, give or take. Yeah, so you get 4 javelins that you grab on the way out. Um, if you guys are going to be able to grab like crossbows for bolts, or if you're going to grab bows, I'm not going to make you for that. You can grab those. That's fine.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you were going to try to get in there? Like I think you had said, like hand axes or anything like that. Oh, bows like Donatello bows. Gotcha. Um, oh shit. Okay. All right. Yeah, because does I mean, I'll say that like if you guys want to try to grab like a couple bows, roll a d4, and that's what you can find. There you go. You got 3. You got 3. We'll say 2 long bows and a short bow, just for shits and gigs. Well, the dwarven longbow is actually a short bow, yeah. And the other ones are just ukuleles. So yeah. Well, remember, yeah. Actually, I was going to say, I was going to say, remember they enlarged, but their equipment enlarges with them, so that doesn't mean anything. So never mind. Um, just not good enough. Did you buy this from Black Iron Blades or what? So yeah, so cool. You guys have some ranged stuff now. That's cool. I will say this: you guys clearly have a party member that's not with us tonight. I don't think you guys have to make any like permanent calls about what you're going to do, but I want to make sure that if we all had a chance to kind of discuss it, and I could put this in front of you, I wanted to try to make it as clear as possible what the scenario was and what your options were before you guys kind of move forward. I mean, I'll try to murder you with this dragon. Don't you worry. But I'd like you to be informed before I do it.
Thanks, I think.
I didn't hear what you said, Chris. Say it again.
Oh, I just being a wise ass. I said thanks. I think.
Question mark? Yes.
Well, are we gonna take a short rest though?
I mean, that's a plan. You could do it. I also want to say that like if you guys teleport to Brinshander or even remember that those were two localities where you were able to do some like first aid and medical buys as far as potions and stuff like that. So it will take time, which the clock is ticking kind of thing. But if you're going to teleport to a place, that's another thing that you could do while there.
I'm still thinking that we kind of write off Dugan's Hole. Like I said earlier, they should be smart enough to head to Bryn Shander, and then we can worry about rebuilding Dugan's Hole later. If we teleport into Bryn Shander, we can kind of get the ball rolling and then head it off. Whether we decide to do that at Goodmead or at East Haven, and that will give us time to do our short rest and get things going and kind of head it off wherever we're going to do that. Mm-hmm.
What are the what's the percentage of her getting us of Velen transporting us to or teleporting us to Dugan's Hole?
Give me 1 second, and I will tell you. So I will say that you've got, if she was going to teleport you to Dugan's Hole, you've got about a 50% chance of it working out okay.
Yeah.
Hey, those are good betting odds.
I don't should
What's
land
the
in a
okay? So
inside a mountain.
okay, so if
You
if
teleport
the
into a wall.
worst case scenario, so 5e has taken out teleporting into a wall, so you don't have to worry about being permanently fused to a wall anymore. But
Oh,
if yeah, you're kicked out of Harvard and you die. No, so if the worst case scenario happens, which is lovely labeled mishap, everybody who's teleporting takes 3d10 force damage, and then I roll to see where you wind up. Also, multiple mishaps can occur, dealing damage each time. So if you no. So basically, it's like for whatever happened poorly with the spell, you show up and you see like a fuzzy picture of where you're supposed to be, and then just like when you touch the port key in Harry Potter, you get sucked back into the vortex, and then it tries to shoot you back out again. But if the DM rolls a mishap chance again, you smash back into that fuzzy view again, and then get sucked back into the vortex. And that could potentially happen indefinitely if the DM rolled the same thing multiple times. Chances are that's not the case. And chances are you just be shunted off in a direction that wasn't the original place you're supposed to be after that occurred. But it is a reality of teleportation. And for further definitions, there are 4 outcomes whenever you teleport. One is on target, one is off target, which is you're generally in the place you wanted to go to. Similar area, which means if you were like, take me to the cafeteria, you could wind up at the cafeteria you want, or you could wind up at a cafeteria in China. And then the last one is mishap. And mishap is the one where you get dealt 3d10 damage and then roll again to see what happens. I just imagine from this point forward, every time you guys go anywhere, someone's picking up a rock or taking something from a church or just doing whatever because you're like, nope, I'm going to make sure this is perfect every time.
Velen, you're staying with us. You 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 are our teleportation device. Welcome to the team.
Oh, never mind. I was thinking I took socks from somebody, but I didn't. I gave socks.
The opposite of taking. This
Why would finding the bathroom allow
yeah.
us?
Well, if you remember, Dugan's Hole was kind of a shithole. Yeah, so the whole place is just a shithole. So Velen's like, I never stopped and took a shit there, so I don't know. I don't know. Who had a muffin, specifically a bran muffin?
Hmm.
That's it. That's
Well, we have a higher percent chance of getting to Bryn Shander. Bryn Shander probably has the most people that can aid us. Perhaps they also have a way of teleporting us to Dugan's Hole quickly. Bryn Shander would then have the most time to fortify because they're last man on the list. So we could teleport. I could send a message to Dugan's Hole. We could teleport to Bryn Shander. We can rally as many forces as we can. We can see if there's somebody who can get us to Dugan's Hole quickly. And have a higher percentage than 50%.
The only thing I will say about this plan, all of it's good except for getting a message to Dugan's Hole. With the dragon already having a half an hour head start on you, and the speed with which the dragon flies, I doubt you'll find something in the area that could get the message there before the dragon arrived.
Gotcha.
Just saying.
All right. Well, then maybe we get a message to Goodmead.
That's probably more likely or more possible. I also imagine like the sparrow from The Hobbit arriving just as the dragon does. So someone's like, "What's this bird trying to say to me?" And then the dragon just destroys the town. So he still has the owl. I haven't really been keeping track of it. I've been thinking maybe it's just on his shoulder or whatever. Yeah. But the owl could, I think, could travel and deliver a message, but I don't know if it would have to be a written message because I don't think the owl has a speech ability at this point, apart from interacting with Loki. Yeah, I think that's something that maybe you might want to ask TJ before you do, just in case he comes back and he's like, "Didn't I have an owl?" And you're like, "Well, you did, but past tense, definite past tense on that one."
For the greater good.
Well, also, I think if I didn't say it, with Valen being very familiar with Bryn Shander, it's a 75% chance of her being on target to get there.
Okay. And also, my animal messenger is able to. It can deliver my message as described, replicating the sound of my voice. And it doesn't matter what it is: blue jay, squirrel, bat. So it doesn't need the ability of speech.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely do that. We'll have to figure out the travel time, find out if the bird's going to get tired.
It says it would cover about 50 miles in 24 hours for a flying messenger.
Okay, so what's 50 broken down by 24, and that's how far it can get in an hour.
It should be 2. But...
All right. So given that like most creatures can push themselves to go 16 hours without rest, you could, whatever that total distance is, that's where that could go in a straight line, like, because as the crow flies kind of thing. The only thing that could slow it down is if there's any weather or other events that occur, like a dragon hits it or something, because if it flies across the dragon's path, like, that's a thing. But apart from that, we can pretty much figure out that would be the distance, timing, etc., that the bird could pull off or the creature could pull off.
And Velen also had an owl on her shoulder.
In the image, she does. She currently does not have it in Dugan's Hole. In Dugan's Hole. In some.
I was gonna say, because then we could send out 2. Like, I can find a hawk flying through, and we could send out Loki's owl. Loki's owl could just have a written message on it. I could,
You're gonna die.
yeah, exactly. And we could send them out to, maybe the bigger towns, East Haven, and someplace else.
I think these are all great ideas. I think that the two questions I have right now is, one, do you want to wait to pull any triggers until you've got Mike in with everybody? And then two, do you have any more questions for me that I can try to answer?
Yes. What should we do?
Oh, that's a great question. I will say that I've looked at this and I'm like, I wonder what I would do. Like if I was a player and this is what was put in front of me. And you guys are covering a lot of the stuff that I considered, even like reaching out to other people, like what Chris was thinking about. And I was like, so one thing to know about dwarves is A, it takes a bit to get them engaged, and B, they don't move fast. They're dwarves. So that's a problem. I think the only thing that you guys might have access to has to be magical, and I don't know that anybody beyond what you were just talking about, Dolan, with like sending the birds as messengers, either with verbal or a written thing on their legs. I don't know what else you have that would work. Especially like Mike might have had something, but where he's tapped out right now, I don't know of a cantrip that would do something that would be helpful in this circumstance.
I'm checking.
I think you have to do it during a full rest, but it could be per item on that. So I don't know. I would say that it, generally speaking, I think it's a full, it's a longer period of time. But if not, then I'm happy to all that. But I think I don't think you can do it in just like a half hour, an hour.
I could be wrong, but I thought the attunement was only about a half hour to an hour.
I'm just doing a quick run right now because it's a great question, and I don't know the answer like off.
And it's nothing special either. It's just being in your possession.
Attuning to an item requires a creature to spend a short rest focused only on that item while being in physical contact with it. This can't be the same short rest used to learn the item's properties. This focus can take the form of weapon practice, meditation, or appropriate activity. If the short rest is interrupted, the attunement fails. Otherwise, at the end of the short rest, the creature gains an intuitive understanding of how any. So I will say that if the only other thing that you do during the short rest is gain back hit points using your hit dice, then yeah, you can attune to it. I thought it was longer. I thought you had to do that, but I do like the following paragraph that says an item can only be attuned to one creature at a time. Just because I imagine like everybody tries to attune Loki's quiver all at the same time to just be like, mine. Everybody hold hands whenever you're grabbing any kind of ammunition. Okay, good. Whose hand is this? I don't know if it's in 5th edition or not, but there used to be a wondrous item called a bag of devouring. And so instead of a bag of holding, it literally was like a mouth orifice for an extra dimensional creature that if you reached in, it would, just like the Zarlak pit, would pull you into it and eat you. So like it was like a great thing for like a spellcaster to carry if they were ever like captured by someone. They'd be like, no, don't go into that bag, and just be like, would just eat the creature. So everyone's surrounding Loki with his quiver of awesomeness, and he just puts that creature in there. So you reach in and you're like, I get pulled in.
Being that we're up in this citadel and you have such a good view, do you think I could see the sky over Dugan's Hole?
No. And the reason I say that is if you remember the pictures of Sunblight, it was built against the side of a mountain, and you guys are actually on the southeastern side of the mountain that the ridge goes up and then goes down, and that's what leads to the valley that goes over to Dugan's Hole. I think you can actually see that on the map that you guys are on right now. Where Sunblight is here, nestled in the. I got to be on a different thing. Where Sunblight's here, nestled against the side of the mountains, right here. It you can't see over the peaks.
What if I were at the precipice of that?
So if you would like to spend some time climbing a mountain, you can do that. But that's going to start clicking time on the clock.
Gotcha.
Actually, I think I might have a cool picture. Do I have a cool picture of it? Let's see.
You did of Sunblight into the
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we were able to climb up the side of it because of that cool picture.
That's right. That is right. Okay. Yeah, this is it. I think if I can see if I can pull this on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Did you guys see what I just did?
Mm-hmm.
I can do it this way. There we go. You can see in the background how like the mountain rises up higher than the citadel itself. That's just been sort of carved into the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
This is one of the coolest pictures. Well, not coolest, but one of the cooler pictures in the book. I saw this and I was like, oh my God. Can you even imagine like there's a snowstorm and you're like, yep, that's where we're going. Let's go do this. All right. And then you guys did. You did it. So we get discounts at Black Iron Blades.
And there are no other. There's no. I mean, I know that there's like lizard type things in this citadel. There's no other creature that maybe.
So from what you have seen in Sunblight, the only creatures that you were aware of were the giant lizards, the Dwergar, the Kragoth, and the dragon. That was effectively it. I mean, there was more to the citadel that could have been explored, but again, that's going to start the clock ticking again if you're going to try to do that.
Okay.
And I will share one other picture with you guys just because it's an idea of what's about to happen to Dugan's Hole. Let's see if I can do this. So if that's like honestly, I think that tonight is like a good planning session. If you guys don't really have anything else that you want to try to push for this week, then we can kind of hit pause. I'm happy to bow out. You guys can like hang out in the chat and talk about it as long as you want. But I don't want to pressure anybody into doing anything, especially if like one or more parties not here to kind of move on.
I think we should definitely make the decision of where we're going, go there, and take our short rest.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right. Well, in that case, it sounds like what we got to do is we got to roll a D100 to see if you guys can teleport there. You want me to roll it, or does somebody else want to roll it?
You roll it.
Okay. D. All right. I'm rolling 2D10. The first 10 that comes up is going to be the 10s. Here we go. So here's 106. Nope. So you got 60. 610 is what you got. But no, so you got a 60. You needed a 25 or better to be okay. And you guys are okay. And Velin transports you guys into a place that you are very familiar with. She transports you into the interior of the Northlook Inn, which is where the party first started this adventure. And under the watchful eye of Scramsax, the bartender, and there's that sort of see-through fireplace where you were approached about Chewingas, and you are safely in Bryn Shander, in a place of relative safety, and you are out of the wilderness.
Yeah, I say we get the word out and talk to whoever we need to talk to tell them what's happening before we take our short rest.
Okay. Apart from making Scramsax basically shit his pants because you guys just appeared out of nowhere. You can calm him down and get him to he'll aid in getting the word out. The main people that are in Bryn Shander that you probably want to talk to are the militia captain and the town speaker. And the speaker's name is Devessa. I gotta look it up. Devessa, where is it? Bryn Shander. Yeah, so it's Devessa Shane, and the head, the sheriff is Markham Southwell. So those are probably the two people you want to talk to the most. What we can say is, I will roll me a D6 somebody, and that's going to represent the. Well, no, there's what do we got? We got in an hour. You got 60 minutes. So roll a D6, and that's how many minutes it takes to get a conversation with one of these.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, they're not just standing there. I'm going to say that once you get a hold of them, you guys are recognized figures in 10 towns. And so you can immediately have that conversation with them. It's just a matter of finding them and getting to have a conversation with them. You did not move it up. Yeah. Could we take more than 60 minutes to do this? You know what? I think that let's do a group roll on this, and I'll set a DC of 13. You guys pick a skill that you have, and it could be intimidation, it could be persuasion, it could be whatever you think would be the most helpful for this. And since there are 3 of you tonight, if 2 of you get a 13 or better on that skill, you can speed up the roll of D6 by minusing 1. So if it's a 6, it's a 5. If it's a 1, I'll say you got it done in like 5 minutes somehow. Okay. We'll see those dice pop up and find out what you get. I know Rothgar is really good at making rolls when it counts.
Shut up.
Wait a minute. You rolled a natural 20 on your deception check, so shut up. All right, we got 1 success. We got 2 successes. Rothgar, if you come through with a success, maybe I'll give you a little bonus to it too.
Yeah, no pressure.
Rothgar?
What are we rolling again?
I don't think
So-
he makes.
I don't have.
So you're choosing a skill that you think would be helpful in getting people to more expeditiously get you in contact with, like the town speaker or the town sheriff. So it looks like Ziada went with intimidation. Dolan, what did you go with?
Survival makes perfect sense.
Okay. I don't know if it does, but okay.
I was thinking survival or investigation personally.
I'm like, it is. You know what? In this circumstance, I'm not going to be a prick about that. So yeah. All right. So what do you have that you can try to do, Chris? Like again, even if it's a long shot, you might as well take it. All right, a 10. All right, the 10 doesn't pass, but it's all right. You got 2 successes out of the 3, so you're fine. So all right, now I need somebody to roll me that D6.
I'll do it.
This is the serious roll.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, you guys just thought I was serious?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fine. I'll do it. I just don't roll well.
Just roll a 1. You don't roll.
That's good. All right. So 20 minutes. You minus 10 because of your successes in just yelling at people or somehow just feeling what the wind feels like as Harvest walks outside and is just like, we should go left. All right, let's go left.
I can smell them that way.
Yeah, I've never smelt them before, but we should go left. But it works. For whatever reason, the gods smile on you in this moment, and it only takes you 20 minutes. And so, at this point, in the world of things, you are having your meeting. I'll say that you can get this done as quickly as you want. It will take, we'll say 10 minutes. So the dragon has now had an hour and will be in Dugan's Hole in 1 hour from now. And you guys have notified Bryn Shander that this is coming for them, and that I'll say that you share like the travel pattern and all of this shit that we've been talking about tonight. And you get that out. So you can get that out in the conversation, and then you're like, we're gonna.
Now, can I see the sky over Dugan's Hole?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
I appreciate your doggedness in trying to get that, but no, you cannot.
All right.
However, with your survival check, you do notice that it looks like there is a heavy snowstorm that is coming in from the northwest.
Oh, shit. Okay.
All right. I think maybe what we do is because it's 10:30 right now. You guys rest up, use your hit die to get yourself back up to wherever you need to be.
Okay.
You've done that. Also take whatchamacallit. Oh, if you were going to attune to something, that's right. If you wanted to attune to something, make sure that you update your character sheet to say that you've attuned, and we can pick up from here next week when you guys basically have decided where you're going to go from Bryn Shander, if you're going to stay in Bryn Shander and watch the destruction even though you can't see it, or what you're going to do. Remember your options now, and your options are diminished. You don't have that scroll of teleportation anymore because Velen burnt that to get you to Bryn Shander. But she is capable of casting as a ritual, which takes an hour, the Phantom Steeds, which would literally get you anywhere, pretty much anywhere in 10 towns within an additional hour.
How many hit die do we have? I'm not seeing it on my.
So you guys are level 6, and so whatever your hit die is, if you're a D8 or a D10 or whatever it is, you have 6 D10 that you can roll to get back as health. And you don't have to say you're going to roll all 6. Like if you rolled 4 of them and that got you back to full, you still have 4 for if you take another short rest that you could use that.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And also, make sure that you have unchecked any positive or negative death saving throws. You are back to 0, everybody who may have died. Actually, I do have to comment that the thing that made the fight with the Quaggoths so potentially like deadly was I think it was called like frenzy or viciousness or something like that, where if you drop them to, I think it was 10 or 12 hit points, all of a sudden their damage like increased by 2 damage die. And it was like, and Chris's attacks were just enough to like drop them to that ratio every time he attacked one of them. And I'm like, oh my God, you're not making this easy on yourselves right now. So. And Velen has offered to help however she can, specifically with like whatever limited spell she has at her disposal. You notice that once she has returned to Bryn Shander, she kind of like as you guys are all taking your rest, she kind of goes off by herself and traces a sigil in the sort of the air in front of her, and from like the ether, there's like a flash of blue smoke, and the owl comes back and is sitting on her shoulder, and she turns and like sort of mutters something to the owl, and then steps aside, and the owl takes off, and she says, "I'm trying to get some more help to come as soon as I can. They're not pretty, but if they get here, they'll be helpful."
Hey,
It's like, who did you just point at when you said that? Well, Loki's still with you, right?
Yeah.
I'm just there's 2 he's, so I just said who. That's all.
Wow. I thought
You
you were
could-
talking about her owl. I was like, wow, what a dick. Boom. All right, guys, don't worry. I have my wild shape back. I
The
can't.
wild shape where I can't cast spells. Sweet.
Yeah, no, it's pointless here.
I mean, we didn't have that whole conversation about like things you could turn into, and I mean, maybe there's a CR flying creature
No, I
that
can't fly. I'm not allowed to fly
could
yet.
turn into a giant wasp.
A giant what?
A giant wasp.
But I am not allowed to fly.
Oh, I see. All right.
Slim yet.
That would have been super cool because all of a sudden, wasn't there no, not wasn't. I know there was a cartoon and like a whole line of action figures. I think they were called like insectoids, and they were like these warriors that rode on like giant bees. And just
Yep.
you imagine Rothgar with his halberd just flying on a giant bee attacking a dragon. Again, keep making my fantasy, guys. Just keep making my fantasy. I love this. This is awesome.
Is it possible to find out if the Black Iron Blades has my package ready?
That sounds vaguely sexual. If you want to spend my time, I'm not shaming. I'm just saying it sounds. If you want to spend the time to go over to the Black Iron Blades, you could see, but time is the ticking. Think about it. Everybody think about it. You guys know that basically an hour has burned now, and the dragon will be in Dugan's Hole in 1 hour, and we will pick up again next week, and I will try to use this dragon to make your lives miserable. That's what I will do.
Well, one question before we break then is how much time would it take for me to go to Black Iron Blades and check it out?
Depending upon where you guys wound up meeting with Duvessa, or the Southwell, which whoever you guys ended up meeting up with, roll me a d4. See how long it takes to get there and back. 20 minutes. About another half hour burnt off the clock.
The Ronaldo, that bard that told us about Velen, where did we talk to him?
So you talked to him outside the Cave of the Berserkers. You also talked to him in East Haven when he asked you if you wanted to hang out and do a seance. And you also talked to him in Care Koenig when he sang you guys a song about the group. So he's kind of all over the place.
Okay.
He's a bit of a Tom Bombadil, that guy.
Tom Bombadil. But man, does he have a voice on him.
Oh, it's pipes. The pipes are calling. Who knows? Maybe you guys will be regaled with more songs as you move on. I think this game and watching The Witcher continues to inspire me to try to be your bard as I sing you through the adventure.
Do it. That's why I keep coming back, really.
Well, listen, I like doing it. Usually the concepts, I'm thinking about it, and then either I got to go drive for an hour to pick my daughter up, or I jump in the shower and I'm like, oh, here's the song. This is what they're going to listen to now. This is it. But all right, I'm excited to see how you guys do it. I think you guys have a good plan. I'm very happy that you guys weren't just murder hobos that went, fuck 10 towns, whatever, we're out. I'm glad that you didn't do that, and I'm excited to see how this goes.
Awesome. All right, guys.
All right, everybody.
Ciao.
Later.